What was the very first photo you ever took?
It was a sunset that I took down on the beach in Florida on a very early vacation with my family.
And when did you know photography was more than just a hobby?
When I was in high school, I started working for the school paper and kind of thought I really liked this.
Do you remember your first paid photography gig?
I do. It was for a department store. It was a picture that was this big of a girl wearing a sweater, and I worked on it for 2 days to make sure it was perfect.
Today, in this moment, what's your favorite photo you've ever taken?
Well, it changes all the time, but right now I'm loving the portrait I did of Ringo.
What's your favorite photo you didn't take?
Anything Irving Penn photographed, I wish I photographed.
Studio or on location?
Studio.
Natural light or strobes?
Strobe.
Who was the most unforgettable person you photographed?
Maybe Scott Weiland of the Stone Temple Pilots.
What's the most challenging shoot you've ever done?
I think it was probably Mike Tyson, mostly because I had an idea that he was unsure about, to photograph him with one of his pigeons in a very specific way. And I was so determined to get that picture in my idea that it made it really hard.
Have you ever missed the shot and regretted it?
Every shoot, I walk away saying, oh, I should have done that. Why didn't I do that? Oh my gosh, really? I should have done that too.
How do you prepare before photographing someone well known?
I usually start by doing research, see almost from the beginning, how they started, how they grew up, what they're doing now, what their favorite things are, their hobbies, things that they really enjoy outside of what they do for a living.
And what's the first thing you do, like when you arrive to a shoot location? How do you start?
Just talking. Sometimes I'm given a very specific time to make a picture, and I use half of it just trying to ease my subject or get them comfortable with me.
And what's the first thing you notice when that subject walks in front of your camera?
I normally watch their demeanor, how they turn their head, how they raise their eyes, how they speak. If there's any characteristics of them that I find interesting, I will somehow try to incorporate it into a portrait.
What would be your go-to lens?
Right now it's a Fuji 120 millimeter macro. It's just an amazing lens.
And what's your favorite body?
The GFX 102.
Film or digital?
Both.
Black and white or color?
I go back and forth. Lately I've been doing a ton of black and white.
Portrait or landscape?
Started with a lot of portrait. That's all I did was turn the camera upside down. Now I'm doing a lot of landscape.
What's one rule of photography that you love to break?
Don't follow any rules, any books you read. Go the opposite way.
What's one thing photographers should never do?
Rest on their laurels, copy somebody else, or follow the rules.
What's harder, photographing a celebrity or a stranger?
I think they're about the same. Each one has its own issues to deal with.
Do you talk a lot while shooting or stay quiet?
It really depends. If I have to talk to get it moving along, I do. But sometimes if things are really happening great, I just keep my mouth shut and keep pushing the button.
And then how do you make someone feel comfortable in front of the lens?
Just try to be on the same level with them and typically talk about things non-related to what we're doing.
What's one word you'd use to describe your photography style?
Impactful.
What photo of yours best represents your voice as an artist?
I think any portrait I've made.
How do you know when you've got the shot?
I've always been able to know when I've got it. There's just something that happens in the middle of the shoot where that incredible image comes along. I know, I stop and I say, we're done.
Do you plan every shoot in detail or do you leave some room for the magic?
I do an outline and then see what happens and wing it within that outline.
Weirdest location you've ever shot in?
A closet.
What about the coldest shoot you've ever done?
Remember it like yesterday. North Dakota, below zero. Camera was so cold that it was malfunctioning, and I would take a couple of pictures, run back in the car, heat it back up, run back out. Meanwhile, my subject stood out there and it was below zero, like it was nothing.
What about the hottest?
117 in Arizona, laying on my back, photographing two farmers felt like my skin was burning off of me.
Who's the most photogenic celebrity you've worked with?
There's been so many, but I remember Gilbert Gottfried was kind of like a man of 1,000 faces.
And what about the most down-to-earth celebrity you've worked with?
Let's say Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters.
One person you wish you could photograph.
Paul McCartney.
Who would be your dream subject, living or dead?
Rodney Dangerfield.
What's your favorite image from The American Farmer?
Probably the picture of Billy Dolan's tattered flag.
What's something you learned about America while shooting these series of books?
There's a lot of good people doing great work for us that need to be acknowledged.
How does your approach shift when photographing non-celebrities?
I think there's a little less pressure. It's a little bit more fun for me to not have that element.
How do you build trust with someone in 10 minutes or less?
Really try to get to the heart of the matter and see what I've got in front of me. And it's usually through some sort of conversation, mostly not pertaining to the work.
If you weren't a photographer, what would you be?
Piano player.
What's the best advice you ever received about photography?
Well, I was very fortunate to meet Irving Penn, my all-time hero, and he said to me, stay true to your vision, look very closely at what you're doing, and always take the picture from your heart.
What's a bad habit you had to break as a photographer?
Getting off a tripod.
What's one technical mistake new photographers make too often?
Rely too much on automatic settings and instead of their own vision.
What's one creative risk you're glad you took?
Working in the film age and working completely in manual.
How do you deal with creative ruts?
I usually take a break and just kind of go back to the basics and take my camera and just take regular photographs.
What's your favorite way to recharge creatively?
I usually stop taking pictures, look at old photo books and old photography and fashion magazines, and that usually does the trick.
Do you listen to music while you're editing?
Always.
Coffee or tea on shoot days?
Coffee.
What's always in your camera bag?
A Hoodman loop.
Do you have any pre-shoot rituals?
Do your research, check your equipment, check it again, and check it again. Because if something can break, it's going to break.
What's your biggest fear during a shoot?
Of course, not getting the image.
What about your proudest career moment?
The Photography Book of the Year award from the National Western Heritage Museum for American Farmer.
What's your favorite book on photography?
Richard Avedon's In the American West.
If you could hang one of your photos in any museum, which would it be?
Maybe the portrait I did of the Rooster Man on the cover of American Farmer.
How has your work changed over the years?
I'm more confident in the work I'm doing now, and it's a little more direct, and I think it expresses my opinion better than it ever has.
What's your favorite compliment someone's given you about your work?
That I really captured the soul of my subject in that picture.
What's your favorite critique you've ever been given?
That the pictures were too static and too stiff and didn't have a soul.
Do you ever revisit old shoots and re-edit them?
All the time. It's one of my favorite things to do now.
What's one photo genre you'll probably never shoot?
Landscapes.
What's a genre you'd like to experiment more with someday?
Tintype.
How do you know when you're done editing a set?
For me, I go through it 2 or 3 times. Cream rises to the top. I take those, I know I'm done.
What's one moment from a shoot you'll never forget?
Riding on an elephant, doing circus pictures to try to get a portrait.
If you had to sum up your philosophy as a photographer in one sentence, what would it be?
Do your best to capture the soul of your subject.